All right, I have on the line with me here Daniel Mancine of Mancine Outdoors. Daniel, thanks for coming to the show once again today.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, I know the season's kind of winding down, coming to an end. I know yours ends on this coming Sunday. What do you recommend guys do in the off season to stay sharp and get ready for next season?
Shoot, shoot, and shoot, man. Because I tell you what, it took me a little while to get back into the speed of how these ducks fly and getting my shooting down. So if you could get out to your local range and get some trap shooting in and get some real good cross flying in on those skeet, shoot, and shoot. And what I like to do is I like to piss off everybody around me while I'm driving because I got my duck calls going. I got the windows down, bop, 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 and they're all staring at me like I'm a weirdo. But hey, I'm ready. So call and shoot, call and shoot, call and shoot.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing we haven't really highlighted is the importance of going out to the local range and doing some trap and skeet shooting just to stay sharp. I know it's actually pretty amazing how quickly it does go away and how long it can take you to get back if you're not doing a little bit of activity. It's not like you have to go every day, but it is important to get out and keep your eyes sharp, keep your gun sharp. Remind yourself of the getting back to basics, right? The mechanics of it and keeping those mechanics that way so when the season does start up, right, you've kind of got that muscle memory still built in and you don't forget it and just keep drilling it into your brain. So, it's really, 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 really important.
Yes, sir.
What would you say to some of our listeners to inspire them that maybe had a rough year?
It's been a rough year everywhere. For example, we have a real big flyway here that comes down through Sauvie Island in Oregon, and it produces tens of thousands of ducks every season. And this is one of the worst seasons we've had in 15 years, but it's not the worst season we had. And then looking back at historical numbers, we every year that we've had one of our quote unquote worst seasons, the next season is typically our best. So just keep your head up. It was a warm winter. It happens from time to time. It's all name of the game, man. Don't worry about it. Just practice, get ready for next season. It's all fun, and maybe team up with somebody that has a little bit more experience and maybe had a little bit more luck, and maybe pick some people's brains a little bit and see what they did different than you did. Maybe you weren't in there in the right spot at the right time or doing the right things. It's all about talking and communicating as well.
Exactly. Well, I want to welcome everybody to the show. Again, Eric Wilkes here with Duck Hunting Fanatics. We appreciate you being here and listening in. I have with me Daniel Mancine of Mancine Outdoors. Daniel, what have you seen this past couple weeks up in the Pacific Northwest?
The most dang ducks I've seen all season. I'll tell you that right now. A lot of movement. It doesn't matter if the sun's shining, rain, wind, snow. We have a lot of ducks that just came down our way. And we go back to our first episode where you asked me, what's one thing you wish you could have in the season? And, I said, pigtail limit. Well, I'll change my mind right now and go with you and say I wish I had another week or two on this season because it's getting good now.
And that always seems to be how it works out in a lot of areas, right? It's always the tail end of the season, and it seems like, depending on the weather, of course, but no matter what, it always seems like, oh my gosh, I'm suddenly seeing a whole lot more ducks, and I only got a few days left to hunt, and here they all come.
Exactly, exactly.
But that's why it's what keeps us coming back too, right? If we got our limit every time we went out, and eventually we would get bored of it, right? There'd be no challenge to it, and without a challenge, it would lead to boredom, and then obviously you'd quit and go find something else to do. So we don't want that either. So,
Nope.
Well, looking back at this season, what's been your favorite moment so far?
I got my daughter out on her first duck hunt a few weeks ago, and just seeing her eyes light up when she saw the ducks working and coming in and seeing how it's put together, because we've talked about it several times, like this is what we do, this is what the decoys are meant for, and this is the way we shoot, this and that. And when she saw it all put together, her eyes lit up and she was hooked, boom, instantly. And she just can't wait to get back out there, you know. That was a highlight for me. And another highlight to add to that is, you know, my dad, very skeptical of duck hunting. He got to go duck hunting once when he was a teenager back in the 70s, and his blind was a 55-gallon drum full of water, and he hated it, you know, and he said he'd never do it again. And now he's out there hunting. You know, when I'm at work, he's going out now, you know, and that's another highlight, is getting to hunt with my dad and a lot of family quality time.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome, and there's nothing like, you know, a young person's eyes lighting up and introducing them to a new sport and a new challenge, and then watching them experience the outdoors for everything that it's worth. And so that's really awesome, and especially if you get to do it with family, you know, your daughter, your dad, and that just makes it all the more fun when you get to have those experiences with people that are close to you, especially with loved ones. And so, you know, I appreciate you sharing that. We've had a couple of those stories, and I'm excited for this weekend because my business partner and the other co-founder of Duck Hunting Fanatics, Eric McMillan, is actually going down with one of our other guides, Kyle, who we've had on the show numerous times, and his partner, Timbo, and he's taking his son with him. So, you know, there's an opportunity there
Sure.
for him to, you know, get his first duck. And so I'm super excited to hear the feedback. I get chills, you know, just thinking about it and hearing about it when I hear of a new young person getting to experience their first duck hunt. And so it's awesome that you've had that experience with your daughter. And I look forward to the day that, you know, I get to share that with my son and my daughter. You know, my son's only 3. He's going to be 4 in April. So he's got a little while before I'm able to get him out on the water and get him out
Yeah.
and do some hunting. But I very much look forward to cherishing that day and cherishing those moments as much as anyone else would with their family or their kid.
Yes, sir.
Um, you know, now I know you don't hunt with dogs, but you own dogs, and I know you're looking to get a hunting dog. Do you have a preference on breed that you're looking for yet?
You know, I've got a few in mind, 'cause we don't have extreme climate over here. So a German short-hair pointer, um, a lab, a chocolate lab. You know, I love those dogs. Or a Bracco Italiano is the those are my 3 picks right now that I'm really looking into, just based off of durability wise. Those tend to be very strong sporting dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've got stamina. They just have stamina like no other. You know, my dog, I have a German short hair, and if we're doing upland hunting, I mean, that dog can run for 4 to 6 hours straight, non-stop.
Yeah.
And I know we had the opportunity, I've taken him out quite a bit this year, but I remember one really hot day back in October. I mean, you're talking like 70 degrees, and this dog they just don't know when to quit. So, you know, I love the German short hair, but that largely depends on climate. I live in Wisconsin now. When I first got him, I lived in Arizona where it was very hot. And so, but even then, I wouldn't question him. You know, I take him out in the cold all the time, right? I take him out in the snow, you know, and he'll go same thing. He'll go in extreme cold temperatures for 4 to 6 hours. As long as they're moving, and can keep their
Yeah.
body heat up, you know, I would recommend a German short hair, especially for, you know, where you're at in a mild climate. But I'm biased, right? You got to make your own decision. Labs are great dogs too. I had labs growing up as a kid, and they are some of the most loyal dogs as well, and they have stamina that can go. So I don't think, regardless of what direction you go, which of the 3 you pick, I don't think you're gonna, you know, there's no mistakes. It's really just figuring out what's gonna fit for you and work for you and work for your family.
Yes, sir.
But I also know that you own dogs, right? You have dogs, so we're kind of moving into
Yeah.
this whole series. And in fact, we just did a session upcoming, a podcast with the veterinarian where we talked all about dog food. And so I'm excited to release that. But I always like to ask, you know, some of our people who own dogs, and especially you who's, you know, out and about, what do you look for in a good dog food?
Well, I look for a lot of dog foods that are grain free, mainly because my one of my dogs, he's allergic to corn and stuff like that. So what the ingredients are very important. I always look at the first ingredient too, if it's some kind of chemically enhanced, like bleached flour, enriched flour is the first ingredient. I don't like stuff like that. As long as it's a whole meat product as the first couple of ingredients, that's what I really look for. Something more health beneficial. A lot of omegas. I use Blue Buffalo a lot. They tend to respond better to that. And I also run. I have them all on a nutritional supplement too. I add this powder. It's a Sport Dog powder.
Mm-hmm.
Because they both, like two of my bigger dogs, my Saint Bernard and my American Bulldog, they're older, so they're starting to develop some hip problems. And I'll tell you what, this powder that I got them on, man, makes a huge difference on whether or not they're going to have a bad day or a good day. So.
Sure, yeah, and I appreciate you responding to that. We actually had a lot of questions around grain-free food, and it was one of the questions we asked our veterinarian on one of our upcoming episodes. So I'll look forward to hearing his response too on the additional benefits of it from a more scientific level, if you will, and look forward to getting that episode out. So. That said, that concludes today's call, but we appreciate you being here. Daniel, tell all of our listeners how they get in contact with you or how they can reach out to you if they have questions or need support.
You can find me on Instagram at Mancine Outdoors, or you can shoot me an email, mancine.daniel@gmail.com. I'm going to be working out in the fields, out in the country all the off season, getting ready. I'm going to be doing a lot of cleanups this spring out here in the Pacific Northwest, getting groups together to go clean up our hunting areas and make sure that we do the best we can to preserve our land. So if you want to get involved in that, just reach out to me.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for listening in. This is another episode of Knee Deep in the Duck Blind with Duck Hunting Fanatics. We appreciate you listening, and we'll look forward to putting out another episode. Greetings, fellow duck hunting fanatics. Eric Wilkes here, co-founder, and I wanted to take a moment and personally thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. If you haven't already done so, make sure you click the link just below this video to go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you get all of our future updates and future videos that we release.